Okay. Let's see. Do we have anyone? Oh, no one's here yet.
The other thing that I need some help with, and I don't know if you would have a minute or Devin at one point. I've never really learned how to use Google Docs. I sort of fumble around with it, but
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how to, like, I was just looking in my files and trying to find where I have a link to these group files, and I couldn't figure that out exactly.
I just emailed them.
Oh, did you? Okay.
If you check your email, I sent out a new email with the.
But isn't there something I should be able to figure that out by myself? I'd hate to ask you. And
Well, I would recommend saving those links to a favorite or
somewhere.
something,
Yeah. Okay.
or flag my email so that you can find it.
Yeah.
Um,
That's what I usually just sort of search for the email, but I just couldn't find the right thing. All right, let's see. Inbox. Come on now, baby.
why isn't Alexi, I'm trying to make you a panelist, but you're declining. Oh,
Let's see here.
hi, Alexi.
That's more like it. Sorry about that.
That's okay.
I didn't mean to decline. Nothing personal.
So I know that Courtney cannot be here today,
Oh, okay.
but she is planning to join the committee. And then Mitra, I'm not sure, but otherwise we've got Laura.
Laura said she was out sick.
Oh,
Mm.
that's right. So Alexi, Jan, Devin.
Let me see what Mitra
So we
said.
might be waiting on Mitra.
Yesterday, Mitra, when I was texting with her after our meeting, Danielle said she was gonna join, but
Okay.
I can text her.
Hello.
Hey, Jan. I was just getting busy doing something and then looked and it was after 10. I was like, oh crap. What happened? All of a sudden it's after 10
Time flies.
when I'm doing nothing, fiddling around.
Sometimes it flies the most then.
I think sometimes it does. Yeah, there was a lot of things. I was doing something. I'm lying. It was fiddling with my online class that I'm teaching because
Oh, cool.
it's such a mess. Like I can't
Gosh.
even believe like all I think of is kids pay for this, and it's so I'm like, okay, the last person that taught this just was okay with so much chaos that it's really hard for me.
Oh no.
So I'm going through and tweaking the whole thing. I mean, the points don't even add up. It's crazy. Like there's things that are written down that said 30 plus 20 plus 70 equals 100. This is what I'm talking about. This is a 300
Just
level
an
college.
FYI, we are recording.
Great.
And I think we should just begin.
Let's get to it.
Yeah.
All right. It's Clean and Reliable Backup Energy Systems, a committee of the Eugene Sustainability Commission. A couple of us here. So where we're at, we have a fact sheet for the public and a memo for council. And the fact sheet for the public is off to city review. So thanks for your contributions to that. Danielle is spearheading the effort to have city staff look at that both for content and for things like graphic design, right? Layout, infographic, that table. Danielle and I actually got together recently and tried to get it to a point where we think it'll fit front and back on, a one-page front, one-page back situation, which would be really much better than a 4-page thing that has to be stapled or folded or something like that. So we're trying to make it like a relatively simple handout that Sustainability Commission can share and it can be shared otherwise from the city.
Mhm.
So that's off to city. Great. Love it. Thank you, Danielle, for wrangling that, and just keep us posted as you get either comments for revisions or feedback. It's still just a Google Doc, but I did move it to comment. So it's a public link that anyone can access, but it's no longer anyone can just change things in it. It's now, anyone can make comments for revision. So
Okay.
if you get comments, flag me and I will either do them or we can bifurcate the versions or whatever.
So I think my plan is to hopefully I'll have the city staff review it and get graphics to do a pass, and then hopefully it'll get back to this committee by the March meeting, and then you guys can decide if you're ready to submit it to the full commission for that March meeting. That timeline should allow, the appropriate reviews to happen. So
Yes, we would love to have it
Me too.
out and done and approved by the full ESC in mid-March.
Cool.
Hey, Mitra.
That'd be great. Hi, Mitra.
And hello to our 2 attendees, David and Arun. Cool. So then we have the next push is the informative memo to City Council, which we've got the Google Doc up. And if you pull that up, you'll see there's Danielle helpfully sent out links in email. You'll see that I've actually got a good amount of content in there now. I was thinking that we would simply have the fact sheet as an appendix to that. So it's not the fact sheet content is not pasted in, although some of it is suspiciously similar. But the next couple of sections in here, we've got like introduction, 2 different kind of flavors of what we're talking about here are what are the systems that go into people's homes and buildings for resilient backup, clean, resilient backup energy. So the various flavors, small and portable plug-in batteries, grid-tied permanent batteries, EVs with 2-way charging, renewable diesel or multi-fuel generators, wood stoves, right? These are like the system types and they're briefly described. And then there are a couple of other key sections that still need a little work on them. There's a section on electric and gas grid energy system resilience, about, what does it mean to rely on one source of energy in a home or building versus more than one, and one versus like say you're all electric, but you also have a backup energy system. That's a little different than just on the grid with no backup. It's still all electric, but you effectively have it's almost like having 2 different energy systems. And what are the systems in homes and buildings that, in fact, that seem single fuel, but in fact are dual fuel, like a gas furnace that needs electricity for the igniter or the fan or et cetera. So it's not unusual. So talking about like what is truly resilient from the grid point of view and the systems and buildings that pull on those. What are truly single fuel systems and which are not?
does everyone have the Google Doc open?
I'm not being able to get my email to update. You said you sent it, but for some reason, my email is just not updating here. So I don't have it currently. I don't know if
Yeah.
Let me here.
I've got my Google Docs open, but I don't know how to navigate to it from there.
Take a look at the chat.
Could go to recently
Oh.
shared, maybe.
Okay, all right. hang on.
Meeting chat has a link.
Coming, thank you.
Sure.
If that doesn't work, or if you're on your iPad, I could text it to you and you might be able to pull it up that way.
Here we go. Here we go, got it. Thank you, Alexi. Thanks, everybody.
Cool.
I wonder if it's would be good to take a couple steps back and have a discussion about what your guys' purpose with this memo is. I think right at the top it says aim for 4 to 5 pages total. I think that's too long
Yeah.
for council's attention. I think if you could aim for maximum like 2 pages, with appendixes is fine. So 2 pages of memo plus appendixes. And within that, like, what is y'all's main purpose with this?
So there's the last couple sections, I think that sounds fine. We can aim for 2. It's currently at 1.5, so I might have to either trim some content or land at 3. Rather. I think the key message to council here is what really is a resilient energy system, at the building scale. Like, what can be expected to keep people's homes and buildings habitable, if you're comfortable or not, but not pipes freezing and people able to stay in their space during either winter emergencies like snow and ice, or wildfire, power shutoff, or otherwise, summer emergencies. So what are the systems in buildings that are useful? The backup energy sources that are listed in the fact sheet are described in a little, it can't be that much more detail because it's only a couple pages, but they're described in this memo anyway. And then I think one of the key messages here is about it's being able to get into a little bit more detail about home systems that can still operate or cannot still operate when the gas or electricity is out, either way. So like furnaces with fans that are not in fact resilient if the electricity grid's out, or natural gas generators that are not a be all end all if the gas grid loses pressure, like it did almost did last winter. Didn't actually here in Eugene. It did in some places. So it's like the actual systems that are out there and are seen as resiliency assets. Is that likely to happen? How realistic is that? And then in the context of policy, what can the council, what are other places that are leading on resiliency at a local level in terms of building resilience? So I think the policy example is important. If we can find a couple, that's the research task. Go for it, Devin.
On building resilience, what policy?
If we can find some examples.
Yeah.
Devin wants to say something.
I think when I'm looking over the memo, and I think it's nice and well written and stuff like that, but I'm a little concerned that it doesn't have an ask, really.
Right.
And knowing what I know about, or what I think I know, that's still a little different, about a council is like they want, from our meetings with like the mayor and Councilor Semple a lot of times, and maybe Jan and Mitra, you guys can chime in and tell me what you think about that as well. There was a lot of feedback, and we don't have to adhere to it necessarily, I'm just throwing it out there, that council wants an ask in the memos. Like they really do. Like they look at stuff, and if it's informative, fine, but then it gets shuffled if there's not really like an action point. And I'm also, that's one of my concerns as far as relevance, which I mean, not saying it's not relevant. I think it's totally relevant. I'm just saying how we want them to think it's relevant, right?
Right.
So, and then the other piece that I just totally forgot that I was thinking of. Oh my God. Talk about brain fog, Mitra. Oh.
Okay, well, we can keep talking and you'll remember.
I'll think of it in a second.
I understand what you're saying, and I think that's true. I think that's what we're trying to do, is figure out what the focus is that will feel like something that is meaningful to them. It does seem to me that education of them as to what, like Alexi was saying, what really will work and what really won't work, or what the complications are, is important if they're getting feedback from community members that, hey, we can't do this because it, you know, it won't work so that's important in and of itself. And I guess maybe the ask then is to help us in their contacts with the community of, you know, making sure this information is understood and that we have these other tools for that. I mean, that's one thing. I liked, who was it who sent around the note about some city providing little incentives for small battery packs, something like that. That was kind of a cool idea.
Yeah, I think I sent that. Let me check.
Anyway, that, I mean, that could, if we wanted to go so far, that could be something, but.
Oh, I remembered.
Who was that? Did I
Good.
send that?
I was busy there remembering.
You or Laura or somebody, can't
I
remember.
think it was me.
Was it you? Yeah, sorry, maybe it wasn't. It's not in my sent, so it must be.
Find it. Maybe I will find it.
So I
Yeah,
guess my other concern is kind of related to this as well, which is how does this, the other piece that is a relevancy piece is how does what the city does actually is what the county does.
Sure.
I'm a little concerned about that, and that
Right.
this is the resiliency hub stuff is all county work. In a big part, right?
It's being led by the county. The county is leading because they got this big $20 million grant. And so, yeah, they're focusing on regional resilience, but one of their resilience hubs is going to be in Eugene, and part of the grant will focus on expanding other resilience hubs in Eugene also.
We need them in Eugene as well, for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
But I'm just curious, what is council's role in that process of like, where are they, what's in them? I mean, is council even involved in that at all? That's my point, is like,
I don't think,
or is it staff?
it's staff for sure. I mean, staff and community, like a lot of community engagement.
Sure, but
That
I mean,
also can be policy, you know, that I think policy is a broad term. It's not just like ordinances that council passes.
Right.
So, I mean, one policy recommendation could be city staff to engage with like community members and with the county to ensure Eugene resilience needs are met. Like that could be that's a policy, you know, that it's not a direction that like council needs to like vote on, but it's like a policy directive.
Yeah.
I mean, I think to take a couple steps back, what I'm hearing you guys say is like the flow of the memo is going to be like a little bit of background on what energy systems will ensure resilience, and what clean energy systems will do that.
Right.
And then some research on what policies can help build resilience at the local policy level. Is that sort of the two parts?
I was thinking that the ask would be more, the reason I was saying policy examples is that it's an ask that is a very straightforward ask. You're like, another city has done this thing, you could do it too. So that thing that I tracked it down, by the way, I put it in the chat. It was,
yeah.
Southern California Edison rebate on electric portable power stations, $150.
Yeah.
That might be a city thing, but it might be an eWeb thing that the city could work with. And those are for people in high risk fire areas. We now have a fire risk map statewide. We also have areas that are likely to get public power safety shutoffs, and you know, so there's some zones that we could lean on to denote that. One option I was thinking could be bulk purchasing of things like these electric portable power systems. So if the city and the county could get together and say, we're going to buy 500 of these things, they could probably get a significantly better price, and then they could offer that to people at that price. That's like an approach that might make sense. Places have done similar similar
Mhm.
efforts. On the
That's good.
commercial side, there's zoning kind
Yeah.
of upty, and we could have a
Mhm.
recommendation for a different, a recommendation for some kind of zoning or development benefit if you can demonstrate better resilience. And say you have a backup energy system that can keep the building habitable at minimum habitable levels. That's a definable thing out there in standards. We can point to expanded set point standards, which is to say, like, not that comfy but fine, for, you know, X days. Can you stay at that level for 7 days without needing external energy inputs or fuel fired generation? If so, then, you know, maybe you get some kind of development incentive
Mhm.
bonus, another floor or whatever. So there are some examples like that. It doesn't necessarily need to be financial, but that's often the way it's gone. So I want to be careful that we're not like off only giving ideas that cost a lot of money when the city's in a budget crunch. So there will probably be a few things that are like bulk purchasing or relatively small incentives on backup power systems. But I think we have a little bit of research to do to find policy examples that are low cost, no cost to the city, and still are meaningful to people.
Yeah.
I want it to be like at the building level, so that, and in particular for homes that have made the choice to go to clean energy at the home, like a heat pump, so that they have a resiliency system that is achievable, without having to feel like they're going to be stranded
Mhm.
in a power outage.
I like that.
So we have a little research to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think another component that might be useful to add, and it could be towards the end, is like because there's some bills in the legislature right now at the state level that relate to resiliency. I can drop
Yeah,
the
there are.
numbers. It's like HB, here they are, HB 2064, HB 2065, and HB 2066. These are different, these relate to like microgrids and resilience, and it might be worth just raising awareness to city council about these in the memo, just as like, the city is already, like, as part of our legislative IGR strategy, the city is going to support these, but it might be good to just indicate in the memo that these are, you know, in the legislature right now, and
Yeah.
will be important for supporting like local resilience as well.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. So we've got like a background info section. What are the systems that go into homes and buildings? See the fact sheet for more. A little bit on, and maybe up at the beginning is more about like electric and gas grid reliability and systems that work, you know, with one or the other. And then maybe we can do a little state policy landscape section. What state policy now? Here are some things that are in consideration at the legislature right now. And then examples of other cities that have developed policy and are moving on this topic. And got so far small incentives for backup portable electric backup power systems. We had bulk purchasing, city, county, nonprofit.
Yep.
I'm thinking like St. Vinny, for example. But there was a third example that was covered, and I'm forgetting.
Zoning MUPD,
That's right. Yeah.
like development benefits if you can demonstrate resilience.
Danielle, is there anything new on having a emergency manager? Is that?
No, but we do have a staff who's the designated emergency manager right now, Zoe. And so she's been designated, she's engaging with the county on like the resilience stuff.
Good. Okay.
That would be the fourth thing here. Oops, sorry, Alexi.
What happened? You're muted.
I am?
I-
No,
we're
Alexi
just-
was.
We're just typing in the document right now.
Okay.
Typing
Thought you
live.
were saying.
Do people have the document? Oh, can people see the document?
Yeah.
I'm wondering if like does anyone like Devin, you have really strong writing skill of that I know of. I know a lot of people do, but if anyone wants to maybe take a stab, like it might be worth consolidating the first 3 paragraphs if this is indeed going to become 2 pages, like
You read my mind. I was just rereading them thinking that there's way too much in there and it needs to be bullet pointed probably as well. To just like key things, keep it short,
That'd be great.
yeah,
keep it tight. I mean,
totally.
it's so funny that you said that because I'm like, should I just start typing?
Yes, you should.
Yeah, do it. Do it. Go
You're
for
good
it.
at that, Devin. And then I
Yeah.
think
Get up.
going on, like as I'm looking at this, the explanations where you provide the different types of systems, small, medium, portable batteries, all that, you could probably just bullet them, like the part that's bold already, get rid of the descriptions and say, see the appendix, which will be the fact sheet. Because doesn't the
Yeah.
fact sheet kind of go into each of these?
It covers a lot of that. Yeah.
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 I'm happy if you think the council will then look at the fact sheet, sure.
Yeah.
I think they might, but they might not. But they're also less likely to read this at all if it's like
Yep.
not easy to skim.
Yeah.
So,
Yes, yeah, that was my thinking as well, is I know this sounds like we're sending something so basic and it's hard to kind of stomach that feeling, but I really think that if we really want them to read that, they just got to get the main points and then they're intrigued and then they look at the fact sheet. But if they start and they're like, ugh, then they won't look at the fact sheet because they're
And the
already
fact-
worn out.
And the fact sheet will be more scannable as well and graphic,
Mhm.
right? So, yeah.
Sure. Yeah, Devin, if you will clean up that first chunk, that would be helpful. So then if we trim these. I'm actually gonna, there was a little bit of content. Yeah, I think the size kilowatt stuff can just be gone forever.
yeah, don't delete stuff that I mean, this is all valuable content, so don't like just delete it.
Well, sure.
I mean, you can cut and paste it and put it somewhere else, just for if you want to move it somewhere different, but you can always like make a little like storage dock. I do that all the time and then shuffle things back and forth, right?
Devin, once you have done, oh, good, you're doing it live. Clean up on the top.
Just a little bit, if you guys want me to. I'm just
Yeah,
kind
yeah.
of reading. It's all quiet, so I'm just doing it.
Yeah, that sounds great. And
I
then,
think this was a good use of time to have multiple people.
yeah, I mean, this is how the work gets done. Bang it out. Danielle, do you know of a summary of those bills?
Um,
I mean, I can just look them
yeah,
up.
like a
Yeah.
let me message Ian. Ian was the one who wanted me to bring this up with you guys today. So let me see if there's already like a paraphrase situation that's happened of them, because I know that our IGR staff have been like in the weeds on a lot of this.
Sure. And I mean, I've opened 2064. There's a digest.
I mean, like I'm thinking maximum one sentence per bill is probably plenty.
All right, so
With
then
then just like a brief sentence at the end that's like, the city's IGR, committee is, let me see what, are support these bills, and maybe like any opportunities for city councilors to demonstrate their support would be beneficial, like something like that.
Twenty 64 requires Public Utility Commission to take certain actions to support the operation of microgrids and community microgrids.
Here we
Yep.
go.
yeah,
Ian
I
just,
pasted,
Is that,
I
is that what you
pasted-
want?
Yeah, take a look at the informative memo. I put a little summary of the
Just-
because maybe the key part out of the digest.
Ian just
Okay,
sent me
cool.
a sentence on each one.
Great, perfect.
Perfect. Boy, 2065 is a little technical. Interconnection evaluations for community microgrids.
Yeah, really.
That's in the weeds for sure.
Allow the person to contract to conduct a study. That's great, though. These are good.
I don't know that I know enough about how interconnection works right now to know what the purpose of having a consultant do it is.
All right.
Yeah. Yeah, these sentences aren't, the grammar on these isn't exactly all there, so maybe more research. This could be something to work on.
Yeah. I could look into these a little bit more if you want. Take that part.
That sounds good.
I apologize for bringing this, if this has been discussed, because I know I've been in and out of this, but has there been any focus on creating more resiliency for our current electric infrastructure? For instance, like burying lines that are endangered by extreme weather or anything like that? Has any of that been brought up?
That's a good point. I don't think that's in here yet. I know that eWeb is doing quite a bit. it might be worth inviting them to the next meeting. If you
Yeah.
guys want to learn about that and include that in the memo.
Yeah, I just feel like that's another route that could be taken, is just like reducing the risk of our current system going down. And that puts, I mean, that is more in the hands of the city or the utilities, and it takes less personal action on the part of like individual citizens to like feel prepared.
Mm-hmm.
And I also wanted to bring up the point that the topic, you know, that we're talking about in general is, I think it's a point that individuals who are uninformed, I'm excited about this memo in terms of our community education work, because
Uh-huh.
I've seen it used to shut down the conversation about electrification. It's
Right.
like, it's used as like, oh, well, what if this happens? So bam, it's just like off the table. And so the more work we can do, and the more like we can get this into the public ethos and the ethos of the city council, and just like that these things exist, and this topic is being considered and worked on, and these are some options, and like, you know, then we're removing that just kind of shut down switch for people and being like, well, yeah. So I think that we should just mention that this work, the educational aspect of it, both for the community and the city council, I think is of high value, because, you know, it's a topic that's scary and not, you know, been focused on in the past. And, you know, it is something of interest, I think, of like, yeah, what do we do in this situation? It makes us feel really helpless. So hopefully it would be received that way, I think. And great job on all of this, you guys. I'm really sorry for not being so present and contributing more.
It's okay. I think you just brought up really good points that aren't in there yet. So thank you, Mitra.
I mean, I don't really know what we can do about that, except for just, yeah, a little bit of inquiry into what's being done on the part of the, you know, maybe there's incentives that the city could offer to eWeb in terms of like securing our current energy systems, or like, you know, burying lines or protecting
And
our,
I think it would be really good for eWeb to come talk to you guys about what they're doing to.
yeah.
I was in a meeting with them, I think it was last summer, where their resilience manager shared a ton of stuff that they're doing to make their system more resilient. So, and like some of it's burying lines, some of it is like better management of vegetation around lines. Some of it is, yeah, creating like stronger backup systems. Like there's a lot that they're doing, and it would be good for you guys to I think hear it directly from them, because
Yeah.
yeah.
I would love that. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know if there's room in our schedule or anything to hear from them, but I would definitely love that.
Okay.
Is there so like relevant to that thought, should we have a piece, maybe it's at the end of it's like right here, I just made it right there.
Here.
Is there a piece about what it looks like to be a resilient home or building that uses only clean energy?
What do you mean?
Like, here are the systems that can ensure resilience without relying on fossil fuels: portable batteries, grid-tied batteries, etc. Right? And they're bulleted, and there's a fact sheet about them. Sure. And then we have like homes and buildings that use only clean energy, like those heated with heat pumps and with water heaters that use electricity, can become more resilient through the use of these systems. I'm thinking about like building off of what Mitra was saying, that the idea of resilience is pulled out as an argument stopper, but often in a mistaken way, because these systems are either ignored or dismissed as even relevant opportunities to make all electric buildings be resilient, right? So then we have a section that's like all electric buildings, which fit into Eugene's decarbonization goals, the city's climate recovery ordinance goals, can be made resilient through these systems. This is how it's done, and then we flow into policies. I'm trying to figure out if there's a way to like very clearly communicate that this is part of the CRO, and these are the ways you do it, and then the city can support that somehow.
To me, that seems like that should go more in the introduction
Mhm.
somewhere, like,
Yeah, that, and then we could just simply state it, that, the CRO calls for decarbonization of buildings and blah, 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 and here are some ways to do it, and this has been a concern for people, and here are some ways to address that concern.
Also, did we mention weatherization and energy efficiency just in general? As like, if your power is knocked out in
Critical.
terms of heat or cooling, like, if it does come to that, like the more weatherized and energy efficient your home is, the better it will withstand, the longer it will stand without those systems in place. I just think like taking every angle and like in terms of accessibility, really thinking through like these are all the things that can be done and considered. And so people feel like there's some sort of action they can take.
Okay, remember, this is the piece for the council, not the piece for the
Oh, yeah.
public.
But I mean, if we're talking about what if we're talking about what the utilities are doing, like that fits in the range of, protecting infrastructure, but also weatherization. I know we've talked about that before, but sorry, I'm just kind of like thinking through everything and what could be included.
You're working against me here. I'm trying to make it shorter and you're making it longer.
I'm sorry. I'm gonna mute
I'm like,
myself.
stop. I just there, I think I'm done. I think I've cut out as much as I can and still maintaining the integrity of the original mission. I think I took some things out that were like, this is a document. I mean,
Yeah.
they got that part, and just say, please see the attached spread fact sheet. I don't think they have to know public facing or not. Like, I'm not really clear why that is important.
Yeah, that's
but
true.
all this stuff is up for debate, but if you want to kind of take a quick peek at what I did, I feel like more maybe could come out, but I don't want to, I'm not sure more can come out, I guess.
This makes me want to look at what some of like the Oregon CUB, I don't know if you guys are familiar with CUB,
Mhm.
Citizens Utility Board.
Utility
They
Board.
have a lot of good language on some of this stuff. I'm trying to look at that right now to kind of look if like we can borrow some of their, if you guys could borrow some of their language. Let's see if I can dig something up.
What do you think about this new third paragraph? The climate resilience ordinance thing. I just put a new third paragraph in, even as Devin is trying to reduce.
I'm,
But it's a
I
thing
mean-
that would have come later, but now doesn't have to.
I wouldn't use the word cudgel. I'm just gonna see if I can scoot in here a little bit.
Oops, I've got some stuff problems here. Hold on.
That works well. Yeah, maybe it's
would-
not cudgel, it's like a bad faith argument. There's a more educated word for.
And I was just gonna say, often concerns about resilience and emergency preparedness
Sure.
are used to whatever.
Increase reliance on gas systems.
Or no, I would
Shut down
say
conversations.
to discourage, yeah,
How's that?
electrification or progress to the goal. Yeah,
I think it's used to just kind of shut down the
right.
consideration of any of this. It's, I don't know how to best state that, but to halt consideration or of electrical backup systems or
There you go. I like that.
Circuit conversation. Is that a metaphor?
I
I love it.
think that's good.
I'd like to have this read better.
Paragraph 3.
Right here, the stop burning fossil fuels.
Mhm.
I think that's like
What
gonna
about
turn
just,
a bunch of people off right away.
what about just reduce reliance on fossil fuels or?
Right. I think if you say that
Reduce
we must
consumption.
stop burning fossil fuels, you're gonna
Yeah.
lose people right there. They're gonna
Yeah.
just
Sure.
Often real concern.
um
Yeah, that's nice. That flows well.
and then this means that is not great.
Which
That
means
it's sort of
Where is that?
It
it's
means
here.
that.
Can
Oh.
you like
To
it's
achieve.
more like to achieve or to adhere to, yeah.
Right.
We must
We-
reduce, get
we
rid of
can take-
that.
Yeah.
Look at all this cursor battle of the
So
cursors.
good. Coming so far.
So is it to achieve the ordinance or to achieve the goals of the
The goals.
ordinance? Yeah.
How about what is this? Does this make more sense?
So take out reliance and just put reduce fossil fuel use.
No, you could reduce reliance on fossil fuel use. I mean, that's what we are. We're reliant on the use of it.
Okay.
I mean, in our homes. I'm just trying to make that because reduce reliance of fossil fuels in our homes and buildings. I don't know. I mean, it just leaves like use kind of because you just have fossil fuels in your homes and buildings, like in buckets on the floor. I mean, what are we doing with it? You know, I know we know that, but like a sentence
Yeah.
structure, yeah.
Yeah.
But it may not be necessary.
I like energy.
Or just reduce use yet into
Yeah,
to
then you can take a couple words out there.
reliance on.
Yeah.
Now you made it passive. See, this is the problem with the dueling cursors.
Yeah.
Well, it
It's
won't
all
be the
good.
last time it's edited, right?
It's
So,
all good. That's good.
Where do you guys think the eWeb stuff might fit?
Is that local policies? I
I
think
know. That's where it is right now. I
well,
mean,
that's so those are like city council options. I was thinking that's basically stuff council could do.
uh-huh.
Local policies. Maybe we could put there's like a landscape section, and there's two parts of it. One is state bills and one is eWeb's plan.
local.
And maybe
Yeah.
the county's plans fit in that landscape as well. And then potential actions.
Partners. Oh, that's a good
Yeah.
idea.
So
Yeah.
you could like landscape.
State, county, local.
eWeb City.
Yeah.
You could just do regional partners since there's one each
Sure. Yep.
or something.
And then we could have like things council could do. What's the right way to phrase that, Daniel or others?
I think that's just
Policy options.
yeah, policy options. Municipal policy options or something.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that sounds okay. Well,
Then this
Um,
part goes there, and Jan still has research under that.
Yeah, I didn't do it yet.
Naturally, no worries. That would be awfully quick. So intro there.
Are you guys okay with how I just changed that new paragraph just a tiny bit? This one.
Yeah, does it run on with the two ands?
Oh, hold on. Maybe. Sometimes I miss those when I'm looking at words.
But it's kind of two clauses, so I'm not sure if it really is a run on.
Yeah, I don't know if it is. Hold on. Very often discouraged. Short. No, because it's short circuit conversations and progress.
Okay.
This is.
I think it looks
Or
fine. I
you
would,
could say, you could do this.
That's a good idea.
okay, and I would, in the last sentence, I would say, in reality, many low carbon options exist today that can help ensure resilience.
Yep.
Good.
Who says you can't group edit in real time?
Everybody.
Means you get to do it more than once.
But
Not worth
I
doing it.
think
Not worth
we
doing
can't
it.
in a meeting, but in a committee, it's much easier, I think. In the
Yeah,
meeting, it's a
with
nightmare.
this size of group, this is like the max size we can pull it off. So we have a little bit of writing to do. Jan, you're going to do a little bit of state research.
Did this help though? I mean, are we I don't know if we're shorter, but I think we're definitely more concise.
It's way better organized.
More focused, yeah.
Yeah, this is much more useful. I'm going to look into municipal options and examples. If others are, I think that might be sort of the most meaningful part because it's effectively the ask.
Mhm.
Mhm.
So I think it would be helpful. I will lead on that, but I would definitely appreciate if others can poke around a little bit and see if you find something meaningful. I'm gonna check in with some of the other city players I've seen, or county, like Marin County has some stuff that I know. I'll poke around a little bit, but if others can find other things, that would be helpful too. And if you're like, I don't want to disrupt the document, just stick it in a comment.
I had a question because I was typing and not 100% listening. What is the landscape thing? It
Where
says landscape. Right.
Landscape is like, it's the thing into which,
Context,
yeah,
The-
landscape.
right.
Oh, okay. I was in my head, I'm like, are we doing like
We're
if
merging
we
this with the landscape committee.
or like the safety, like cut things back 5 feet from your house? I'm like, wait a minute, what's happening? Sorry, I just sort of, that was a silly question, but I got a little sidetracked by that. See the fact sheet in the appendix for more information about these systems. Do we want to double that? Because we've already said that here.
yes, we should cut one of those sentences for sure.
Yeah,
Um,
probably, yeah, the one after it, after that list.
cut this one.
I
Or
would,
make this one that one.
Why don't we do this?
yeah,
That, okay, yeah, that's what
Yeah.
I would,
yeah.
I think that seems good. Um, what was I gonna say?
What's our length now? Where are we at?
Oh, I know what I was gonna say.
One question I have, oh shoot, we're at time, you guys, but one sort of question, this is sort of a larger question on the resilience grant that Lane County got. This might just be something to keep in the back of y'all's mind because they're beginning implementation of that grant in March, hopefully. There are some questions given the federal, pause on funding, but I just think there may be an opportunity for the Sustainability Commission to potentially form a committee on this next year to help sort of to add your voice on how those, engage and stuff on how those dollars get spent in Eugene. So that's just something to keep in mind. I do have a meeting at 11, but so I think, do people have clear instructions on what their role is to get this to a more final place for next month?
Yep, and I think we're pretty darn close. I would love to have our draft done in a week. And if we can tell the commission in our meeting that's coming up soon, we have a draft ready, please take a look, then it too can be done in the March meeting. Doesn't need layout, so it's easier.
Okay.
I'd love to have everything done by March if we can pull it off.
Okay.
We're super fast. One quick comment about the ask. Like, I know we got feedback from Counselor Simple that like either there's 2 places for it immediately, so then they know why they're reading what they're reading, or
Mhm.
at the end, so it's the last thing they remember.
Yeah,
So there's
make
kind
it
of
really
2
clear.
ways of looking at that. Just something to think
Great.
about, and that we can talk about maybe at the next meeting, and to really firm that up once the ask is clearer, like more, wordsmithed.
Okay, yeah, let's noodle on that next time we get together. All right,
Right.
thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Good work.
Thank you. Bye.